what's going on? Joe Coffey here for PremierGuitar.com. We're on the Gibson bus in Austin, Texas at South by Southwest 2009. Hanging out with the Archangels. We're going to talk a little bit about what's going on with them, talk about their gear, obviously. Everyone knows Chris Slayton, Doyle Brumhall II, Charlie Sexton. How are you guys doing?
Good.
Thank you.
Hey, talk about what's happening here. We're parked right outside Antone's, famous club. You guys have played it many times. What a great town to kind of relaunch, so to speak. I know you get together every now and then, but the Archangels are kind of putting it back together, about to tour, recording an album, right?
Yeah, we have the first thing that'll be coming out as a sort of a documentary live DVD kind of deal, and then we'll have a CD that comes with that, with some new material as well as the live performances. And then there's a bunch of songs and music under construction at the moment. So
Yeah, we have a few shows in Texas, and then we will be headed for New York and then the United Kingdom.
Very cool. Doyle, I know you play with Eric a lot, and I understand you guys are going to be opening for Eric the Royal Albert Hall, right?
Yeah.
That'll be cool.
Yeah, it's actually it is a pretty cool thing, and Eric's always very gracious, and I think he's interested in newer bands out there.
Let's talk gear. Charlie, I've seen you playing a James Trussart Steel Top as of late. What are you going to be playing today?
I'll definitely be playing James's. I love that guitar. There's certain guitars that are just mainstays, and it's Les Pauls, Stratocasters, etc. Like the original ones, and it seems very, very hard for anyone to come up with anything unique that's outside of some of those parameters. But James's guitars do sound very unique.
Now, I know you used to play a Rick a lot. When you went to the Trussart, were you just kind of trying to stay within the same vein and get similar but different tones, or were you just like, let me go a completely different direction?
Well, I mean, I really I believe that guitars really affect how you play and what you or at least for me they do, because I'm very reactionary with what I'm hearing. And the Rick is really it's the Archangel guitar, because when Bill and I wrote the first song that was written for the Archangels, "Living in a Dream," I wanted to get something that had my role in it. It had the power, but not in a typical way, not a straight up Les Paul sort of sound for that particular riff. And so I thought, well, what if everyone does the Roger McGuinn trip with the 12-string. What if you just kind of edge it out a bit and see what happens,
Effects, amps, what are you going to be using today?
Today I'm using a 65 amp, London 65 amp, and my old mainstay of the 60s AC50. Peter Strauss obviously he's sort of like the idea man, and he has the gentleman that actually builds the 65, and I have a similar relationship with a friend of mine here, Alan Durham, who I asked him to make a pedal for me. I said, this is what I want, and I can't find it. He said, okay, I'll do that. Well, 150 bench hours later, finally it sounded like I wanted it to. And somehow miraculously we remained friends through it, as he would bring it. It's perfect. I'm like, no, it's not. And he named it the Sex Drive pedal, which he thought was pretty clever, because it's essentially a drive pedal, and he just popped part of my name on it, which I was quite embarrassed about, until I looked down at my pedal board and noticed that there was a throb, a hot tube, a sex drive. I was like, well, I guess it's kind of in keeping with that. But it's been wildly successful. Once it finally got completed, and he was testing in the shop where he was working, immediately 3 guys, what's that? And it's not any kind of crazy, wacky sound. It just makes your amp do its thing quicker without any loss of tone.
Well, Doyle, what about you? What guitars are you going to have?
A 64 Strat that I use, which it's funny because I never use that in the studio. I rarely use it in the studio. I always use Gibsons and other funky guitars with funky pickups and stuff. Seem to work out better in the studio. But yeah, I play it mostly live. I think because it's the easiest to play. Get lost in switches and knobs. So I'll play that, and I have a Purple Sparkle custom shop, 91. Actually, it was the first Archangel guitar that I had made for us. So. And
It goes really well with the pants.
yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
I could
Did
put
you
some.
catch the pants?
If I could put some glitter on these, it'd be great. That and then when we do a couple songs that require slide guitar, and that's usually P90s. I usually like to play with P90s, and that's the Les Paul Jr. for that.
Talk about your amp setup. I mean,
It's pretty straight up. It's just the super bass, the '68 Marshall Plexi super bass. Through a 212 cab, I like a open back now, mainly for the drummer.
I like that
See,
too. I just
all
had
that
none.
speculation, that's where it comes from right there. You know?
Yeah, that's where the real tone is, isn't it?
So yeah. I
Stop
know.
touching me.
you're kind of known for having a pedal board from hell too. I know
Yeah.
we often switch things out on our boards a lot, but do you have some kind of mainstay stuff that you would never take off of there?
Yeah, I do. It's funny when I started playing with Eric. He told me that because when I first got my pedal board to rehearsal, it was twice the size it is now, and he kept saying it was the size of a door, and so he basically said if I made any mistakes, that he would have it taken off stage.
Was he going to take one pedal at a time?
No, the entire door he was going to take off stage.
He was going to close the door.
He was like, if you make a mistake on that, if that takes up, too much of your concentration, I'm taking it off stage. So I said, okay, Dad. And so I actually stayed away from the pedal. So I used a Line 6 delay and an RC boost mostly, and I had that on all the time. And then I would, use a Cobb pedal who Charlie turned me on to, which is great.
Yeah, like by prescription. There's a lot of little specialty things that kind of do a thing. Cobb by prescription. They also make the Experience pedal, which is my favorite. Joel uses some form of Octavia or something a lot, but the Cobb is crazy unique.
Yeah, you can sort of use it as a overdrive and a
It's
fuzz.
funny. It has that sort of clean yet gritty sound.
Right.
Well,
I had a similar thing when I was playing with Dylan because there's been times with certain people coming in that brought in massive amounts of rack gear and pedal boards and ultimately I don't think he was very fond of that either but I think we both use those things kind of sparingly and hopefully tastefully, so you'd hate for just the appearance of something like a door to hamper what kind of sounds you can get. So the way I dealt with it is everything I had got wrapped in something dark like skateboard tape or little black jackets. So anything that was silver and shiny was kind of like, it's kind of like fishing. We weren't really fishing for anything. We weren't trying to catch anything. Definitely any.
Well, hey, we're a guitar magazine, but we love gear in general. Chris, I got to ask you, I'd be remiss if I didn't. No one plays a Texas shuffle like you, and the snare's such a big part of that. Tell me about the snares you use, and is that I try to see in the videos, is that an ambassador head?
Yeah, I actually like Ludwig metal drums. I've got all kinds. We've got about 50 different snare drums, but two of my favorite drums are both Ludwig metal drums. Yeah, mainly ambassador, coated ambassadors.
Well, guys, thanks so much for your time. Best of luck with the new record, and looking forward to hearing you guys rock it out here at Antone's tonight. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
I'm Joe Coffey. You're watching PremierGuitar.com.